Good afternoon. The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in a detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island. I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein's sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins, UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
So when that came on at 2:30 this afternoon, most of us, excuse me, had no clue what we had just seen. I was looking at different places in the news, and nobody seemed to have any idea what the hell she was talking about. I didn't even plan on doing a second show today because, as you can hear, I'm trying to get my voice to recover. But after what has ensued since 2:30, I have to do a second show. You're going to have to listen to my scraggly voice here because this is outrageous. I mean, I knew the Democrats were lowlifes. I knew the Democrats were scumbags, but I didn't know they were this level of scum. This is beyond the pale at this point. I don't recognize this country. Here's how the instant aftermath was.
Yeah, Nicole, that is the question that we're all asking today. In fact, I just got off a very quick call before we went to air with President Trump, who said he was in the middle of a war meeting and that he couldn't talk for very long and had to go, but that actually he had no prior knowledge to the topic that Melania Trump, his wife, was going to be touching upon today in his statement. In her statement, he then repeated that he had to go, but before we hung up the phone, he said that she didn't know him, presumably referring to Jeffrey Epstein.
This came out of left field for us here covering the White House. The press shop did not give us any insight into what this announcement would be about. That's typical. Oftentimes the First Lady doesn't share a lot of details with the White House communications shop that covers the president on what her announcements might be. We didn't, for instance, get a lot of details ahead of her prior announcement on her efforts bringing home Ukrainian children. But similarly, we had no heads up on this. We're not getting any information from them now, including whether or not the president was aware she would be making this statement. It's unclear to us if she is reacting to something or that's already happened, already come out, or getting ahead of a story that might be about to drop. We don't really know. And the content of what she's calling for, this congressional hearing to allow the victims to openly testify about what they witnessed, is new, and it will certainly breathe new life into this story that has in large part not been at the top of the news cycle lately. The attention here has been on other matters. So this brings the sort of public interest back to the Epstein story.
I felt like after I saw everything I'm going to show you, I felt like I needed to go take a shower. I cannot believe this is where the Democrats are going. So understand what we're talking about. Today, as you're watching this, it's April 9th, 2026. And the most elegant, classy First Lady this country has seen in decades, if history, just stepped up to the microphone at 2:30 in the White House Grand Foyer and did what so many of us have been waiting for. Melania Trump looked dead into the smear machine that she knew was gearing up. She looked them right in the eye and said, "Enough. F you. We're done." She didn't mumble. She didn't whisper. She didn't hide behind lawyers. None of that. She spoke clearly, forcefully, and with that Slovenian accent that still makes the left seethe with jealousy. Right there. She called it right to their face, "You're liars. They're not rumors. They're not questions. They're not allegations. You're lying." Now, I want you to understand, today, as I said, is April 9th, 2026. President Trump got into office and ran back in 2016. We are talking 10 flipping years. 10 years, 3 campaigns, 3 elections, and here we are today. They are going to be saying everywhere you turn that Epstein did the dirty deed with Melania before President Trump did. That's where they're going. We're not even talking colluding with Ghislaine Maxwell. We're not even talking they knew each other. They are leading up to a point where they are going to be saying that she had done the dirty deed with Epstein himself. It's coming. If you haven't heard it, it's coming. I've seen it. You just have to wonder, why now? After 10 years of being in the political front eye, 3 elections, and now today, you're deciding to tell the world that she had conjugal relations with the most prolific pedophile ever? Now? Stinks. It's a damn lie. Anybody who buys into this, I don't want to know you. It's so funny. When I put up thumbnails, oftentimes people will start negatively downvoting my video before I even start. That happened tonight. There's a lot of things that I can tell that this is absolutely a choreographed hit. They decided they were going to pull the trigger today. He got his in July in Butler, and she got hers tonight. And it's going to be relentless. I can only understand or think to myself what he must be thinking, what he must be hearing. As a husband, I'm not the president. I can't imagine what people are saying to him. Easy, boss, easy. Don't go ripping anybody's face off. You can't do that. You're the president. My wife is hurting. They attacked my wife. You can shoot me in the head. I'm a big boy. But you went after my wife. You went after the woman I love, the mother of my child. You attacked her. God help these people. I think tonight is going to be a pivotal night in American history. I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I'm saying as a husband, if you did that to my wife, I would have to say, Robin, here's the number to the attorney. Here's something that you can go ahead and get bail money. I gotta take care of some business. And I'm pretty sure most of the husbands in here would be saying the exact same thing. But we're just getting to the tip of the iceberg at this point. They have decided she's going to be the target. They have decided that Barron's mother needs to be taken down. We can't make him behave. So we're going to go after his wife and absolutely destroy her character and make her out to be some sort of hoe. They've called Donald Trump every name in the book except cock. That's where they're headed. You knew you were getting sloppy seconds. You knew she was with Epstein. You knew. How did it feel, Doc? Oh, I can't even imagine what's coming. But with class, like she always exudes, she rejected their mean-spirited attempts to defame her reputation, to defame her marriage. She said she never even been friends with Epstein, never slept with him, never had a relationship with him or Ghislaine. Only a trivial email from years ago that now on April 9th, 2026 is now appearing. Then she just warned everybody that who knows what they're going to come up with, some AI pictures. Show me on my knees doing something to Jeffrey Epstein. All of this is, of course, to get her, but it's to completely destroy him. See if we can get him off his game. See if we can piss him off. She said, I have no knowledge of any of his disgusting crimes. I was not a witness. I was never involved in any capacity. She even said point blank, I am not a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein did not introduce me to Donald. This is the same Melania Trump the left has spent years trying to turn into some kind of cartoon, the foreign bimbo model who doesn't belong to be a first lady. But today she showed the world exactly who she is. A strong, dignified, truth-telling American wife and mother who is sick of this crap. I am so pissed off. I may drop some F-bombs tonight. So yeah, I'll have to put the tip jar out there because I can never put myself in a position of Donald Trump being a president. Too much unknown. I can't say to myself, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he hears. I don't know what he sees. I don't know what kind of intelligence briefs he has. I don't know. But I do know as a husband right now what I'd be feeling. I do know that I would not want to see anybody smear my wife, attack her, attack the person she is, and basically call his wife out as a hoe. That's beyond the pale. She's a civilian, as they say in the mob. She hasn't done anything to these Democrats. She's been a wife and a mom. And why now? Because the desperate, deranged left, they can't beat Donald Trump at the ballot box, so they're going to go after his family again. The one thing that makes me smile about this, the one thing that I can breathe about and go, okay, is that they are revealing to you right now in living color that they cannot beat this man. They are telling you, in no uncertain circumstances here, we can't beat him. He's destroying us. And so the best we can hope for at this point is to destroy his wife. They're dredging up all of these old debunked stories, hoping something, anything will stick. If it was true, I'm sure Biden and Kamala would have brought it up. I'm sure Hillary would have brought it up. Epstein was still alive. But these people are bad. They're not going to shake her. I can't imagine how she feels behind closed doors as she's talking to him. But she's not going to show visible that they're getting to her. Not this first lady. I want to talk to you about the bigger picture because the sleeper cell media has now exposed themselves to be just that. Jeffrey Epstein was a monster. No question about it. But who flew on his plane multiple times? You already know the names. Who was photographed with with Jeffrey more than anyone? Bill Clinton, 26 times. And even that doesn't matter. The fact that he was Hillary's husband, was on a Lolita Express like it was Air Force One for perverts. Yet somehow the media never wanted public hearings about that. Funny how that works. Funny now that you're losing, you want to do this with President Trump. Check out some more of this crap.
How do you read the First Lady making a public statement like this at this time?
How are things going for the Trump administration right now, Antonia? Things are going so well that a war that has bumped the Epstein investigation to the back page for the last 5 weeks is going so badly that the First Lady of the United States makes an unscheduled impromptu statement about the Epstein investigations that the administration was so desperate to get out of the headlines, to get back in the headlines during an international armed conflict where 48 hours ago, the President of the United States, her husband, was threatening the destruction of a whole civilization. So we are 48 hours separated between threatening war crimes and distracting from the threatening of war crimes and a colossal disaster of our own creation in the Middle East.
So this idiot decides he's going to tie what he's calling a colossal failure of a war that Melania came out to distract from that. Think about that. President Trump has been talking about the war. He's been talking about what they're going to do. They're trying to negotiate something with Iran. He's been posting basically all day about everything that's been happening with Iran. They don't look like they're going to make a deal. They may make a deal. But he's calling it a colossal failure, and Melania had to come out and save him by falling on the Epstein sword. And you just can contrast that with President Trump. Long before any of this became national news, Donald Trump saw through Epstein. He banned a guy from Mar-a-Lago after Epstein hit on an underage girl there. It's already been confirmed. He banned him. He kicked him out. Trump told people. Epstein was bad news years ago. Melania confirmed today they only crossed paths socially in New York and Palm Beach back in the day, like thousands of other prominent people in those circles. Now let me talk about that for a second. Most people never get in those circles. Most people have no idea how things work on Palm Beach Island, even if you're not the President of the United States. Most people don't get invited to these parties. There are hundreds of people at these parties. And at these parties, these fundraisers, these different things that go on, you have no idea who that person is or this person. And they'll say, take a picture. And you take the picture. How do I know? I've been to them. Actually, 2 of them. And I'm getting invited to more. There's a guy, I don't want to say his name yet, but he's running for senator out of Florida, and he invited Robin and I to one of his fundraisers. That means he wants us to cut a check. And when I'm there, and when Robin's there, she'll be in her gown, and I'll be in my suit, and like we're shaking hands, and they'll sit you at a table with people. Hey, how do you know him? Well, yeah, he's blah, 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 blah. You exchange, but I don't know who this person is. Hey, let's take a picture. I don't know who you are. Okay. Hey, do you like him? Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know the people. They don't know me. Well, they might. In any event, they're fundraisers. They are events. Some of these events have big money people. My ex-boss in the advertising agency, who's a billionaire, he gets invited to them all the time because they want him to write checks. Doesn't mean that he's doing something with somebody's wife or something. He's there because he's going to write checks. That's it. Doesn't mean you went to the island. Doesn't mean you got on the Lolita Express. Doesn't mean you have secret friendships. She said, talking about Melania, she said her attorneys have already beaten back the baseless lies in court. Nobody's talking about that now, though. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine if the roles were reversed. What if this was, I don't know, Michelle Obama? Be kind of hard, because most people would realize there's a possibility. Well, you know the possibility. It doesn't happen. It's only Donald Trump, because he comes from those circles. He's the guy these people went to get checks cut to them. He cut the checks. They had their hand out. Of course he's around people with money. the media would be building statues to Michelle Obama for speaking truth to power, whatever the hell that means. But because it's Melania, beautiful, accomplished, immigrant success story, devoted mother to Barron, they mock her. They attack her. They try to drag her name through the mud. Oh, you slept with Epstein to get to Trump or whatever. She's everything the modern left hates. She loves her husband. She's stuck with her husband. She loves her country. She speaks her mind without apologizing for being a woman who actually enjoys being feminine.
Absolutely extraordinary. I have just been talking to colleagues here in the office. We can't think of a precedent for a First Lady making such a personal statement like this ever before. That was a live statement. You were playing it on a bit of a delay, but she made the statement live from the grand foyer in the White House. We knew that she was going to make a statement, but we had no idea what it would be about. And it was about, well, an elephant that has been in the room for quite some time. There have been rumors that have been circulating for quite some time.
I've been doing this show for quite a while. I've been digging into all kinds of President Trump information. I had never heard until about a couple hours ago that there was a rumor that Jeffrey Epstein slipped a sausage to Melania Trump. I mean, you can put in the chat, you can tell me, have you ever heard that? And now they're acting like, oh, this is, yeah, we've known about this for quite some time. Notice he's British. It's going to come back to you at the end. Notice that I want you to pay attention to the fact that he's British.
About an alleged relationship or acquaintance between Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She has decided to get out ahead of those and ahead of perhaps more that may come out. Some of what.
All right, so he's telling you there's more that's going to be published. There is more that they are going to put out there about Melania. Gird your loins, take a deep breath. It's coming. Which should also tell you, oh, this was choreographed from the beginning. We're watching another movie here. Oh, she might be trying to get out in front of what? You know something. Which tells me you guys put something together, or you were. So over the next couple of days, while President Trump is trying to get everything done with Iran, here it comes. They are going to attack her.
That said, and the tone in which she said it suggested perhaps that she was getting ahead of stories that may yet be to emerge. And she wanted to make quite clear that she had absolutely no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She said, I am not Epstein's victim. She said that numerous fake images had been circulating. Be cautious, she said, about what you believe. These stories are completely false. Well, it's a good question, and I don't know. But as I say, that the tone in which she was speaking and the fact that she said numerous fake images have been circulating, and then said, be cautious about what you believe. These stories are completely false. That there is perhaps some concern within the White House, within the administration, that more emails are due to emerge, which the White House believes may look as though they are implicating Melania Trump, the First Lady. And so.
All right. So now you know it's coming. They have decided they are going to put their crosshairs, instead of on the head of President Trump, they have now decided they're putting the crosshairs on the pretty face of Melania Trump. Scumbags. Absolute pieces of crap. And they're not going to take the time to verify anything. If it has her name on it, if it's an email, they're going to publish it. If it has her face on it and she's doing something in the video, a little bit, untawdry, they're going to post it. It's coming. They are going to defame this woman like you've never seen any person get defamed. And some of you guys may be asking, well, Barry, how can you be so sure that, she didn't do it? We got to have an open mind. No, I don't. 2016, 2020, 2024, 3 elections. And if they had dirt on this guy or his wife, they would have dropped it. He wouldn't be in office. That's how I'm sure. That's how remember, everything having to do with the pedo guy, they had control of. Biden, Kamala, Merrick Garland, they all had the files. So, if I'm looking to run against them, I would need a debate. Hey, let me show you the pictures here of Melania getting down with Jeffrey. Hey, Donald, you want to explain this? Nope. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word in 2016. Nobody said a word in 2020. And nobody said a word in 2024. And now you want me to think, oh, look what we got here. I'm just saying, look at the pictures. What pictures? They just come out of thin air? This is so categorically disgusting that I hope at this point, President Trump, whatever he had planned on doing with Todd Blanche or Pam Bondi or whoever, go after these people with everything you got. At this point, I don't even want to hear the words, oh, they're going after my political opponent. F you. F you. Gloves off. I am going to do everything I possibly can to put every one of you asshats in jail. Period. I'm going to look at your tax returns. I'm going to look at your dog's tax returns. We are going to find something that you did. You went after my wife.
Decision perhaps has been taken by the White House to get out ahead of those, and certainly to deal with what is already out there. The rumors that I've heard that are clearly all over the sort of cesspit that is social media.
No. I'm on social media all day, every day, for hours per day. Even when I'm sick, I'm sitting in bed doing this, looking at social media. I haven't heard those rumors. I haven't seen those pictures. I haven't seen anybody talk about pictures. I haven't seen anybody talk about Melania having those kind of relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. The rumor started today. But this dude's like, I've seen it all over social media. Where? Tell me. I'd love to see it. You'd love to see it.
To get out on top of those rumors and to attempt to put them to one side and to dismiss them and to do it up front. And I think that is what the White House is attempting. She appeared to reference an email as well, an email that has been published that is part of the Epstein files that have been released over a period of time.
What period of time? You're telling me all of a sudden these emails with Melania just showed up? Oh, no, that's right. You said they've been released over a period of time. Checking the calendar, April 9th, 2026, though, they get published. Today. But they've been there for a period of time. Anybody can see them. They were that right there. Really? Okay.
It's an email, I believe, from October 2002.
2002. All right, checking my math. 24 years ago. 24 years ago, you're bringing out an email that somehow had been sitting in this box somewhere for 24 years. Nobody saw it before. Mm-hmm.
An email that she is alleged to have written to Ghislaine Maxwell, the partner of Jeffrey Epstein. It's an email in which she writes to Ghislaine, "Dear G, how are you? Nice story about JE in NY magazine. You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in NY. Have a great time. Love, Melania. So says that email from 2002. Now, Melania...
2002, an email. Not a signed letter, an email. An email that should be easy to authenticate. Every email has meta tags and metadata that you can see what computer they came from, when it was sent. Everything about an email, in case you don't know, has some sort of fingerprint to it. Yes, some people can forge them, but since it was from 2002, President Trump was elected in 2016, he got screwed in 2020, and then he got elected in 2024, and nobody said anything about this. Melania came out today, and she just didn't defend herself, even though she looked pissed. None of us knew what the hell she was talking about. She stood up for the real victims, the women J.E. actually hurt. She called on Congress to hold public hearings so every survivor who wants to can testify under oath, which they still haven't done.
Trump is saying in this extraordinary live statement from the White House that she is not associated with Jeffrey Epstein. She never has been. She never went on his aeroplane. That he had no part in her being introduced to her future husband, President Donald Trump, essentially totally disassociating herself with Jeffrey Epstein. So a quite...
What I'm showing you is just the beginning of the flurry. The beginning of what is going to be an avalanche of crap coming your way. This poor woman is going to be deluged with this stuff. And who knows what these pictures are going to look like. I imagine her terror, because they are terrorizing her. But then think about Barron. And he's going to hear all these crazy stories about his mom. He's heard them about his dad. His dad was a billionaire playboy. But now you're going after my mom? You know, we need to have a good deal of prayer about what's happening in our country. These phony virtue signaling sleeper cells have no conscience. They are Satan's spawn. The timing of all of this is not random. That's what I want you really, really to remember over the next week or so. This isn't random. This was choreographed. It happened too fast. The left is panicking. They know the midterms are lost. They're trying to convince you otherwise. And you're using certain people on the right to continue to try and drive that message home. Some of the panicans that President Trump has already talked about are already attacking Melania. I'm not sure if you saw this. President Trump came out swinging, and this was before, let me see if I can pull it up. This was before all this stuff about Melania came out. He went postal on a couple of these so-called panicans. It's really long. I can't read the entire thing. I'll show it to you. But it's really, really long. You can pull it up. Because I know why Tucker and Megyn Kelly and Candace and Alex Jones have all been fighting for me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. Because they have one thing in common, low IQ. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television. They've lost their shows and aren't even invited on TV anymore because nobody cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA. And he goes on and on and on. This is just like an opening shot. Of course, Candace, of course, Tucker, of course, Megyn Kelly, of course, Alex Jones, they're all going to start firing back at him. They're going to let everybody in the country know they hate Trump. He just let them know that I don't care for you guys. But now they're going to jump on this Melania stuff as well. I'm just letting you know in advance. They are going to jump on this Melania stuff as well, because I don't know who's buttering their bread anymore. I don't understand how this is going. I talked about it earlier, and now it's just getting worse. President Trump being in the White House is freaking too many people are out. America is obviously winning again, and they have nothing left but character assassination against arguably the most successful family in modern politics. They tried it with Stormy, remember? They tried it with, what's her name, that E. Jean Carroll chick, that, President Trump did something to her in a mall bathroom or whatever. They tried the Russian hoax. They tried it with Melania's Christmas decorations. Damn, don't you guys get tired? Don't you just get tired of just recycling the same Epstein garbage? Why did they do it? Because nothing else is working. Imagine you're sitting back right now. You're a Democrat. You see in reality what's really happening. You understand if he gets, well, he said either way. He actually posted something else out there that says either way, the Strait of Hormuz will be open this weekend, which means gas prices and things will fall. Do you remember when they attacked him about eggs? Eggs have dropped 97%. Nobody talks about eggs anymore. But now they're going after his wife in the most vile way possible. They want to destroy her womanhood. They want to destroy his manhood. This isn't political anymore. They are trying to put a stake right through the heart of their marriage. But she looked America in the eye and said the lies end now. And she's right. I want every one of you watching right now, every single one of you who voted for Trump, not once, but maybe 2 or 3 times, to understand this. We have to fight this. This is why they hate Trump so much, because the Trumps represent everything the coastal elite and deep state can't stand. Real success earned. Real family, real loyalty, and zero tolerance for the swamp.
That she is calling on Congress for an open hearing for these victims and survivors to provide their testimony. We have to compare that to what we have been hearing from President Trump, from the White House, from the Attorney General Pam Bondi before she left, talking about how America wants to move on from this, how they don't want to have these hearings, they don't want to draw this out, how people in the country are tired of talking about Epstein. You have a direct contradiction to that with the First Lady here. So yes, you have her defending herself, but she is also calling for what so many people across America have been calling for, which is a chance for these victims, for these survivors to come forward and speak on the record, speak to Congress. And she is actually calling on Congress to let them have this day in court, obviously.
Why haven't they already done it? I see them at press conferences. Why can't you just say at a press conference, here's the guys who did what they did? There is nothing that's prevented these women from saying the actual truth. Now, I'd love to see them under oath, under penalty of perjury. I would love to see that. But at the same time, I think these people wouldn't have a problem perjuring themselves. If it meant they could get Donald Trump, they might just, perjure themselves. I want to show you this letter. This is a letter. If you didn't think it was choreographed, How did they do this so quickly? Let me just show you this. This is a letter that supposedly the survivors put out. Survivors of Epstein have already shown extraordinary courage by coming forward, filing reports, and giving testimony. Asking more of them now is a deflection of responsibility, not justice. Oh, so you don't want to. Their words, not mine. First Lady Melania Trump is now shifting the burden onto survivors under politicized conditions that protect those with power. The DOJ, law enforcement, prosecutors, and Trump administration, which is still not fully complied with the Transparency Act. It also diverts attention away from Pam Bondi, who must answer for withheld files and the exposure of identities. The failures continue to put lives at risk while shielding enablers. Survivors have done their part. Now it's time for those in power to do theirs. And then there's their names. Survivors have done their part. We're done. We got nothing else. We're not coming out. They just put out a letter after hearing all this today and saying, no, it's not us. You can't shift this on us. You're the ones who supposedly say it happened. What exactly are you looking to see happen that hasn't happened in the last 20 years? What is different? Why is it that these 1, 2, 10, 12 women, what is it with these women won't get out there and put their hands on a Bible or whatever they want to swear to and give sworn testimony? Instead, they write today, we've done our part. I feel like this is a bad movie. We've been here. I've seen this before. These 12 or 14 women who say that things have happened to them have refused. Every chance they've gotten, they've refused to come out and name names. Oh, there's a, NDA. Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Hey, listen, go ahead and name the names, and if you get sued, I'll pay the lawsuit. You're completely shielded. And today, while this stuff is breaking, you send out a letter. Somehow all of you got together very quickly. Just imagine that. This letter is, well, it's not signed, but it includes the name of all the women on the right. So somehow between 2:30 and I'd say 6:30, you were able to all come together and say, put out this letter. Yeah, I was born, but not last night. This is crazy. Melania came here legally, which they don't like. They keep calling her an immigrant. She worked hard. She built a modeling career. She married a good man, or a man that she thought was a good man. She raised a fine son and became one of the most admired first ladies in history. Oh, I'm sorry. They're going to tell you in a little bit that she's not. They're going to tell you she's probably the most hated first lady in history. Oh, yeah. I got video of that, them saying that she's the most hated first lady in history. Today. I'm like, this all happened in the span of a couple of hours, supposedly. This woman speaks 5 languages. She restored the Rose Garden. She visited troops. And now as First Lady again, she's still fighting for us. And yet they want to tear her apart.
Court is metaphorical here, talking about Congress, but saying that everyone should have to testify under oath, talking about how men have lost their jobs because of their relationships to Epstein, saying that, of course, it doesn't make you guilty of anything, but it should be an opportunity to have the survivors talk, the victims talk, to get their side of the story out there. This, again.
Why isn't it out there? CNN, your news agency. I'm sitting here in Boca Raton and I'm asking, they don't need James Comer. They don't need Jamie Raskin. They don't need anybody. They can walk into any studio anywhere in the country, swear in, and talk. Nobody's stopping anybody from telling their story except them. But CNN won't tell you that.
It is completely the opposite of what we had been hearing in terms of the narrative and trying to get away from the narrative around Jeffrey Epstein, and coming from the First Lady in this kind of impassioned speech where she is directly addressing these claims. Again, mostly claims that have been seen on social media. She names a few news outlets that had carried some of this. And then going into a call to action to even take this further, re-injecting the Jeffrey Epstein saga back into the media narrative and essentially saying Congress didn't do enough. That is such a stunning and stark departure from what we have been hearing, and to be given again by the First Lady standing there at the White House.
Why is it a stunning departure? Well, you decided you're going to throw her into the gutter. That's why it's stunning. You decided you wanted to attack Melania Trump. That's why it's stunning. It's not stunning. This was choreographed. You knew the hit was going out today. You were just surprised that she did it unannounced.
This kind of press conference that the First Lady just had was pretty stunning for a variety of reasons. First is she is publicly calling for a hearing with survivors that we have been asking for months and have been told every time that it wasn't possible. Chairman Comer has not scheduled it. This is the same administration that has called this investigation a hoax. I mean, just a day ago, the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, said that the DOJ was not moving forward on any part of the Epstein investigation. This has been an investigation the White House has pushed aside. There have been efforts by survivors to meet with the White House, to meet with the DOJ. And so for the First Lady to come out and to essentially say that she is calling on this public hearing for survivors and to kind of put herself in the center of the story is something that we certainly were not expecting today, but we certainly welcome and agree with her call to hear directly from the survivors. And this pushes back against all efforts the White House has been making and really distances herself from the president and his public statements in trying to end this investigation and essentially calling it a hoax.
It is a hoax. You're making up pictures, you're making up all kinds of stuff, and you're goading her as you're going after her. You have to know, or I would think you would know at this point, that absolutely President Trump knew she was coming out there today. You have to believe that he said, "Do it, honey." And once again, I believe these people are walking right into a trap, right into a complete snare. They think they got her, and i.e. got him. And so I'm just telling you, over the next 24, 48 hours, all you're going to hear, you're not going to even hear anything about Iran, Epstein.
And that it was a surprise that seemed to come out of the blue.
Look at this guy's face. See, when people are like that, they're easy to trap. He's giddy. Oh, this is fantastic. We got Melania. This should be a sad thing, and this guy is sitting here with a bold-ass grin. He can't wait.
Understanding do you have, if any, about this, and what was your reaction?
I'm really puzzled. If what she's trying to do is encourage survivors to come testify before a committee, we're happy to give them that forum. Some survivors have said that they would join us for a hearing we were going to have in Florida. It was mostly just the Democrats who were going to do that. But we'd love to give them the forum if they'd like it.
No. That's not how it works. You're giving them the option not to show up. He just said it. Well, we'd be willing to give them the floor if they'd want to. No, hell no. Smack a subpoena on their asses and make them come. What do you mean if they want to? You supposedly have information on one of the biggest, most heinous crimes in American history, and you don't know if they want to? What kind of shit is that? What do you mean you're not sure if they'd like to? Hell no. You want to make this work? Subpoena them and make them come in. That was one of the things that made me realize this is all a scam. You're sitting there, smiling Jack, and you're like, yeah, if they want to, no. Have them come on national television, swear in, and tell us your story. Tell us the gory details. It's been 20 years. Tell us all. You're the ones who say you're victims. Notice what Melania said. I am not a victim. There's nothing for her to testify. I'm not a victim. You guys are trying to come after me. Let's talk to the people who are actually victims. How about that? And you're telling me if they want to?
Honestly, if she wants to clear her name, she should come testify before a committee herself under oath.
What is she clearing? Please. Lady on, Casey Hunt on CNN. Why wasn't that your question? What do you mean clear her name? What does a Melania Trump have to clear? Understand this. Even if she wrote the email, what do you mean clear? I'm pretty sure there's no law against sending somebody an email. There is a law against trying to frame somebody, but there's nothing for her to clear. What's the next question? What do you want her to clear? Did you or did you not sleep with Jeffrey Epstein? You want to ask her that? And when she says no, what is she clearing? Because even if she did in 2001 or 2002 do the dirty with him, even if she did, what is she clearing? What exactly are you intimating? What are you accusing her of that you think to have to compel her to, quote, clear her name? Because as of today, there's nothing that she needs clearance from. Nothing. So what is she going to have to come forward? These people are too stupid to realize the words that they say. So there is obviously about to come out something that they're going to fabricate that she has to, quote, clear her name.
Because it's clear that that's what she was trying to do, either that or promote her book. I don't know which one it is, but if she has a story to tell, if she wants to clear her name, then do it under oath and before a committee. We now have set the precedent that first ladies like Hillary Clinton can come before a committee and must, otherwise they'll face criminal contempt. And so I think it's within our reason to ask her to come testify now.
Criminal contempt is when you refuse a subpoena. Melania Trump has not been issued a subpoena, and none of those so-called survivors have been issued a subpoena. You would think you'd want to subpoena them first, wouldn't you? You know, the women who actually said something happened, why are they not under subpoena? Can't answer that.
Analysis on what's happening here today. This is the email that's in question. Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E. Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania.
It does seem like a very aggressive move by Melania Trump to be out denying what's a single email today, and also including in her denial that there's any relationship, sort of a false narrative that there are fake photos of her out there, and that's what she's talking about.
Oh, it's a fake narrative that there might be some pictures out there until tomorrow or Saturday or Monday when you actually put out fake pictures. So the fake narrative is what you're setting up. But, you know, unless of course there's some pictures.
But if you look at this, what she says is it was just a polite, courteous.
I don't know why everybody's saying no sound. Sound is on. Check, check, check. My sound is on. It is running. I'm at like 8 on my levels. It's got to be your computer. My sound is on.
Reply, there's a lot of detail there. There's a lot of details to suggest a prior relationship and a future relationship. And so this is the kind of thing that I think if there had been no response to, might have been ignored. But it's one of those, I think she doth protest too much. Why are they going the offensive? This is, of course, Donald Trump's MO. The best defense is a good offense, to attack people who are attacking her. But I think it does open both Trumps up to more questions about their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And then, you know,
why? How does what she said today open her up for more questions on Jeffrey Epstein? She was putting a period and an exclamation point. I had nothing to do with him. I didn't sleep with him. I don't know what you're talking about. And I didn't take those pictures. She didn't open up more scrutiny. She ended the scrutiny. She's a freedom-loving American. She's telling you what she knows. And she's showing incredible grace under fire. I thank her for standing tall as these liars are coming out after her. I thank her for demanding real justice for real victims, not political theater. There's no narrative here. She ended the narrative. It's what you guys do in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Last point I want to make is that this Justice Department has so botched the rollout of these documents as to undermine any credibility this administration might have had. Withholding certain documents, withholding documents about witnesses who made allegations against Donald Trump, whether those are or are not true allegations, the fact that they remained undisclosed.
If the administration, has done something by, quote, not disclosing something about Melania, what about the administrations from 2002 all the way through today? Like I've said many times, in order for these people to have any audiences, their audiences have to be stupid, complete idiots. Because they're not thinking back. Wait a second, who was president? Oh, Joe Biden was president. Who was attorney general? Oh, Merrick Garland was attorney general. And none of this came out? So, and you're accusing Trump and Pam Bondi of holding back when you guys had the presidency and the attorney general and you ran an election against this guy? That's what all these people on MSNBC forget. You had the White House, you had the Attorney General, you had the Department of Justice, you had it all. And God knows we're not stupid enough to know or not know that if you had something, you would have used it against him. My gosh, these people think you're stupid.
I can't believe that was a coincidence. And so I don't believe anything this administration has to say.
There have been questions about the overlapping circles between...
Again, another person, another Brit, another person from England talking about the overlapping circles. Because he went to a party that he went to a party, and it's all overlapping.
Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, because she was a model. She definitely ran in the same circle as a guy who's now in the Trump administration, Paolo Zampoli. I think she was a model represented by his agency. He was somebody who dealt with Jeffrey Epstein. So there are concentric.
So now they're saying that she was a model represented by Jeffrey Epstein's agency. He's just making shit up. It doesn't make any sense. But they're on MSNBC or CNN, and they're just saying it. They don't care. The gloves are out. They've decided to point the guns on her, and it's her turn to experience July 13th.
Circles here. There have been questions raised. So, I mean, I think she's right to have addressed them. But the question is about the timing. Why now?
Very interestingly, she never mentioned her husband in that extraordinary press conference.
And now there's a report from...
A report? We've got another Brit here. Why do we keep seeing Brits?
MS now saying that they've been talking to the president, who says he did not know that this press conference was going to happen. He did not know what the First Lady was going to say.
Other White House officials said he was informed and he did know. You know, it's kind of chaos. You do get a sense, though, having followed Melania for years, that she is becoming more and more independent. And, you know, she did not separate her husband from Jeffrey Epstein. She was separating herself from him. And very interestingly, when the White House and Donald Trump is trying to slow walk any investigation, she stood in front of the camera today and asked Congress to go forth and investigate.
Think about what she just said. So what you're thinking at this point is that the First Lady of the United States, who knows that people have been coming after her husband, went out there and purposely refocused everybody's attention on Epstein, and her husband had no idea she was going to do it. We can't even bomb other countries without people leaking. And you're telling me nobody in the White House, Caroline, nobody, hey, Melania's getting ready to go out there and just drop some bombs on people about Epstein. Shh, don't tell anybody. Nobody should know this. Is that what you're telling us we need to believe? You're telling me that she went behind the back of the President of the United States, behind the back of her husband, and just did this because, you know, she wanted to take the heat off of her. These people have real life relationships? I mean, seriously. Do these people have real life relationships? I can't even leave the house at night without her knowing, hey, where are you going? I'm going to go get some ice cream or something. You taking the dog? Why are you taking it? Honey, I'm just going to go through the drive-thru and get some ice cream. They got this place down there that has some great ice cream that's sugar-free. But, you know, you're married. What do you mean you're going to go do a press conference? And so you're telling me her press agent, her deputy press agent, the Secret Service, nobody said, hey, Donnie, you might want to give Big M a call. Why? She's about to go make a press conference about Epstein. You know about this? Nobody said anything. Completely unchoreographed. When it showed up on my schedule last night. See, I want to tell you guys this. I get the presidential schedule at about 10 o'clock every night. And at 10 o'clock, it's like, oh, Melania's going to be making a speech at 2:30. It's public viewing. You don't think anybody in the White House went to Trump and said, hey, what's Melania going to be talking about tomorrow? Oh. Do you think somebody asked him that and then he went to sleep? Hey, honey, what are you talking about tomorrow? None of your business. Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, the ludicrous of this stuff makes you sit back and go, what in the hell are you talking about? Caroline Levitt, Stephen Chung, Dan Scavino, all these people. Right now, I can look up and, well, not yet. At about 10 o'clock, I'll see the presidential schedule. It's published. It was on the schedule. Melania's making a speech at 2:30. And nobody thinks that Trump didn't pick up his phone, which he's on it, hitting people on True Social. He didn't check his own schedule, which, you know, in case he doesn't have a printed copy. Oh, Melania's, she's going to make a speech at 2:30. Hey, babe. Yeah, wake up. What are you doing tomorrow at 2:30? None of your business. Is that what you think happened, you morons?
So can you imagine the chaos tonight at the White House?
Yes.
Well, that remains to be the question, Christopher. Honestly, being in that room,
I swear, I didn't put all these people together because they were English. It just kept showing up in my feed. And that made me think, why are there so many Brits all over this story? I'll tell you in a second.
Shock from the rest of the reporters in the White House was quite remarkable. No one was expecting this. When the First Lady makes multiple addresses before, they've normally been on humanitarian issues, they've normally been around things that she does for education for children, but today that was incredibly different. Gasps in the room, people couldn't believe what was being said. Questions now, people asking, is there more that we don't know? She's calling for transparency. It was a very strong statement. She was very much distancing herself from Jeffrey Epstein, from any correspondence which has happened. And it's absolutely remarkable. A first from the First Lady. We will monitor it, but at the moment, we've many questions still to be asked. Why has she chosen this moment to make this statement? Many of us still wondering.
If you think about it, it should come to you, Mr. Young reporter. Why would she be doing it now? I mean, does it not dawn on you that you might be seeing a counter-op? The American people see through this stuff. I think the American people who support Trump also understand that this is crap. They also understand we've got her back, we've got his back. You know, the sleeper cell media and the professional smear artists, which these people are, your lies aren't working anymore. It frustrates us. We just want to give you the middle finger and turn off the TV. The American people are awake. We're informed. We're done being manipulated.
Very firm on her distanced nature from Jeffrey Epstein, saying that she'd never been to his island. She had never been a close associate with him. She did not meet the president through Jeffrey Epstein, but calling and saying that Epstein did not act alone and that there were others that were involved. Calling for a hard line, saying that she wanted a congressional hearing on it. Very, very strong words from the First Lady, calling for justice for the victims, that they need to be heard. So
you notice what these people left out, which is why I had to replay her whole speech. She mentioned specifically that there are people who have resigned. People in Congress, people in business who have resigned, who have quit because of this entire thing. Not one of these people mentioned any of those people. Now, one of these reporters said, who are the people that have resigned from big corporations? Why are these people never brought in and put under oath? That's who she was talking about as well. And they completely skipped over that.
Really quite remarkable from the First Lady and in the White House. And I'm sure there will be more to come, many questions to be asked. But it does sound like if she's making that statement, that action has to follow, that she will be backed by the president. This will not have been just passed by the president. There would have been thought within it, and he will have okayed for her to make this speech. So quite...
All right, so now one guy gets it. Like, there's no way that she would come out and make this without him knowing. That should tell every single liberal, every one of these Democrats, he has now decided, the movie Trading Places comes to mind, when Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are on the floor, and they're looking to sell, remember, their shares, and he's like, oh, not ready yet. Shell now? Nope, not yet. Now. He just put a chess piece on the board that I don't think these people were ready for. He had Melania, and I could be completely wrong, but I think we're about to see fireworks.
Clearly, the White House is happy for her to say this. More questions to be asked.
Well, looking at what she said, I'm not an Epstein victim. I've never had, I wasn't friends with Epstein. I didn't have a relationship with Epstein. They met by chance in 1998. In 2000, their paths crossed. Donald met her with him. There are fake images of Epstein with me. I am not a victim of Epstein's crimes. Is that because people are saying that she could have been? Is that what she's countering? Because it's never been reported here that if that was the case.
at the moment, it seems like she's trying to distance herself from any form of accusation against her, saying that they were lies, saying that they weren't true. She says that the correspondence that she had with Ghislaine Maxwell was casual. So interesting. We know many people in the public eye have been photographed with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They've had correspondence. They've been named in Epstein files, but many have said that they had no wrongdoing. That they were socialites at the time. They knew of the pair. They were at any social event you go to. So for many people, like the First Lady and the President, they will have been photographed at events that they were at. But does that mean they're involved? They're distancing themselves and saying, no, there's no wrongdoing. She didn't go to the island and she wasn't involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
The island being Little St James's, of course, in the Caribbean. Give us a scale of what this means. I mean, this is the wife of the head of state, Donald Trump, talking in a way we've never seen. I can never remember a first lady talking like this.
Why? Perhaps it's because nobody has fabricated a bunch of crap against her. Because in your lifetime, unless you were here for Kennedy, you don't know anyone who's been shot in the head and that the deep state has to take down. When President Trump said, I am going to obliterate the deep state, he had to have known it wasn't going to be easy. You had to have known it wasn't going to be easy. Melania had to know it wasn't going to be easy. And I think we're seeing the last vestiges. They see everything crumbling around them, and they're thinking, let's take a shot at her. He'll never see it coming.
Absolutely. And we know Melania Trump likes to shy away from the cameras. We were at the Easter egg roll earlier in the week. They asked her on Iran. She stepped back. She didn't want to get involved. She did give an answer, but she left it all to the president. She's quite private, quite a mysterious character. We don't know a huge about what she thinks. All of her work and all of her stuff, from speaking to White House sources, I spoke to them yesterday. I said, do you know what this announcement might be about? They said, no, we don't. Normally it's about some of her humanitarian work, or like I said before, the work that she does for children's education. So this is so significant that she is calling for a congressional hearing into it, for heads to roll, and for justice for the victims. And like I say, it will not have been not passed by the president. Clearly, she wants to make herself known as someone who she's already spoken in the UN. We know she wants to be a strong character. So is this career after being the First Lady? Is this her going forward and saying, actually, I want to bring victims to the people, victims of Jeffrey Epstein, and this could be where she goes after the Trump's presidency.
You know, SV's not here tonight, I don't think, and so there's got to be some trolls in here, because every time you talk about the guy from the island, you get them. And I hope this guy here isn't a regular, because it's embarrassing. Says, Barry, get off this subject. It's beneath you. Stop it. Maybe you're not married. Maybe you don't understand what happened today. Maybe you just don't grasp the severity of the media and their cohorts basically putting the First Lady in crosshairs. If this subject doesn't matter to you, if seeing what they're doing to her tonight and what they will be doing in the next couple of days, if this subject doesn't matter to you, you're a heartless bastard. If you don't want to hear what they're saying, you're as bad as Tucker and Alex Jones and Candace. People listen to that, but they won't listen to the complete character assassination that's being done on a strong, full of class First Lady. I don't want to hear this. Nobody's freaking stopping you. It is very easy to just, I don't want to watch it, I'm going to go someplace else. It's not beneath me. I don't know who you are. I don't know how many times you've been here. But if you think that standing up for Melania Trump is beneath me, I don't think you need to be here.
Yeah, Steve, this wasn't in the rundown for your show or any other show that's here at the White House, but First Lady Melania Trump stepping in front of those microphones just moments ago. Now, this was a press conference that had been scheduled, but Steve, there was no details on what she was going to talk about. And for her to walk out and immediately within that first sentence, you knew exactly what she was going to frame up and explain to the American people that there was no connection between President Trump, Melania Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. She absolutely cleared that up. And as you said, she has even alluded to a legal action against those three media outlets and any others that will potentially be pulled into this. But my biggest takeaway on this is what you heard at the very end, is that she is calling for Congress to act on this and have those victims on the Hill have their chance to tell their story.
That's it. She has called out these victims. The Democrats don't do it. You heard the other Democrats say, if they want to, no, that's done. At this point, subpoena them and get their asses holed up and under penalty of perjury. I don't want to hear about the Epstein files anymore. I am not interested in talking about the Epstein files. I'm interested in understanding why you attacked Melania Trump. That's my interest. I also know, or feel strongly, these women ain't getting nowhere near sworn testimony. They will disappear, got a cold, something. They'll get lawyers. For people who want to tell their testimony so badly, they have avoided it at every possible chance. And as I showed you earlier, I'll show it to you again so you can see it right now. They actually said today, we've already done what we can do. The last line, survivors have done their part. We're done. Nope, far from it. Far from it. Now, we got to see what James Comer and all the rest of them do, and you're going to see it change. If James Comer comes out and he actually subpoenas these women, watch the Democrats protect them immediately. Well, we don't want to subject them to this over again. They've already lived through so much horror and pain. We'll come out and tell everybody. See, my thought on this is it's a chess move to completely end it. Either you come out and name names, or we're never talking about this again. You come out here under penalty of perjury and tell us what you know, or never hear this again. That might be what this is all about.
Victims need a chance to tell their story, and for these perpetrators to be, I guess, ultimately held responsible. Big news coming out here at the White House today.
Huge news. I mean, this is a big deal because the Epstein cloud continues to linger around Washington. It's been especially problematic for the Trump White House, even though they may or may not have a connection to it. She said, I have no connection. I am not a victim. I am not a witness. I do not appear here. A cordial response in an email is nothing more than being polite. I'm paraphrasing a bit of what she said there. But she calls out the powerful executives. We've seen a number of people that have resigned here and in Europe because of their connections and their appearance in the Epstein files.
Why is it that the only people who are talking about the people who have resigned or gotten fired are the right-leaning news? They completely omitted that part of her statement. Hey, let's bring all these people in, all these guys who resigned. Those guys who resigned in Congress. Let's open up the slush fund files. You know, all the sexual harassment files that you guys have been using American taxpayer dollars to hide off the dirty deeds that you guys have been doing. Let's put it all out there. No, don't want to do that, do you? Huh? Nope, not at all.
People that have lost high-profile jobs. We know that. She called them out. But you're right. It's almost a demand that she's making that Congress, listen, you need to put these people in front of cameras, in front of microphones, and in front of the American people in the world. Let them speak. Because, look, the Epstein scandal isn't limited to the United States. It's a global problem. and trafficking of women and underage minors is a global problem. And she just put it out there for everybody to, you got to make a decision here. This is a binary call. Either you're in or you're out. There's no middle ground here.
Bingo. This is the final countdown. It sounds to me like the end of The Godfather. Trump is settling all family business. Okay, let's end it. Let's end it. This is what you want. Come on in, put your hand on the Bible or something, and swear you're going to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you whatever God you worship. Let's do it. I got nothing to hide. Melania's got nothing to hide. Let's do it. Let's subpoena all these guys that quit. Let's subpoena all these women that call themselves survivors. Let's bring everybody in one giant ass party and lay this stuff out on the table. Everybody with me? Watch. Watch what happens next week when Comer and these guys are back in and they are stuck and they're forced to make that call.
Is there?
No, Steve, there's not. And, people have gotten rich on spreading lies about President Trump and the First Lady having any type of relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So these people have made it a business model to spread these lies. And so today it looks like that business model has just been broken. And for the victims, this is all they've ever wanted. And I know, being someone that has covered this story, these victims will tell you under oath, and they've said it in testimony, that President Trump had nothing to do with them. Matter of fact, the victims that met with some of the people on the Hill even said they voted for President Trump, and they would vote for President Trump again. So this has nothing to do with any kind of victimization by President Trump. This has to do with spreading lies and letting these women have a chance to have a voice and tell their story. That's all they want to do. Today, Melania Trump, boy, what a quick 6 minutes that was. Probably we didn't have this on our bingo card today. Obviously, it was.
No, nobody had it on their business card, bingo card. Now, all of a sudden, shit just got real. Now, you've been saying it, you've been screaming it, you've been having press conference, and Thomas Massey and MTG. Watch what Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor, by the way, I think that's his girlfriend or wife. Watch what Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey say now. Instead of, they should be going, absolutely, this is what we want. Let's do it. Watch them. Watch them backtrack on it. You just got your card pulled. This is an easy slam dunk. You think there's people who should be, exposed? Let's expose them. Watch what the Democrats do.
No, we certainly did not.
We did not have it.
Yeah, what's going on? No, I didn't have this. And I'll point out one other thing. You point out that everybody that has testified that we've seen the evidence or the tape or whatever, Bill Clinton being the most high-profile person to give any deposition so far, said Donald Trump had nothing to do with any of this. I mean, one ex-president who, his picture appears all over Epstein's flat in Manhattan, nothing. So I'm looking forward to what happens next. I cannot wait to see what the left-leaning broadcast and cable networks do with this little gem that she just laid on the table for them. I'm kind of interested to see what they have to do with it. Brian, last word to you.
You know what, last word, I think this is a great day for people that have been calling for more investigations, have these women be able to have a chance to tell their story. I think it's great. It obviously, once again, clears this administration. When I say this administration, First Lady Melania Trump, President Trump of having any relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That was perfectly clear today. We'll see how people in Congress react on this. And that would be, first and foremost, Speaker Johnson being the Speaker of the House. We'll see if that message today resonates with him and down to the people that control these committees.
And so what she just did is she just put everybody on blast. You're going to point fingers at me. Let's do it. Let's open up everything. Now I'm going to tell you what actually is happening or about to happen.
Well, that was a bizarre piece of news. unexpected. And I know it was bizarre because one of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors texted me to say, I didn't see that coming. That was bizarre. The First Lady.
Why would one of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors have this guy on speed dial? Anybody find that odd? I'm like, wait a minute, they're texting you? Not their attorney? They're texting a news guy? Commenting on what she just said? I don't know. I kind of find that bizarre that the first person, well, I don't know if it's the first person, but one of the people you contact after watching that is a reporter? Why would you contact a reporter instead of your attorney? And when you contacted said reporter, why didn't you just say, I can't wait. This is great. This is what I've been waiting for. Nope.
Of the United States inside the White House gave remarks, unexpected and unsolicited, about Jeffrey Epstein, saying she didn't know about Jeffrey Epstein's criminal wrongdoing, that she didn't know Jeffrey Epstein or have a relationship with him, that it was innocuous and benign, this note with her name on it that surfaced in the Epstein files, and saying it wasn't Epstein who introduced her to the president. And Melania Trump said she wants to put to rest these reports that are casting aspersions on her or putting her in the wrong light. But she didn't say which reports, and she didn't say why she was doing this or why she was doing this now, or take any questions, which begs the question, why did she do this now?
You're the reporter. What are you asking us for? Go do some reporting. Go figure it out. You know, we're sitting here trying to figure it out. We see that they're attacking Melania. There's a supposition I have is that you're walking into a bear trap. You used to work with CBS before they fired you. Don't ask us. Do some reporting. Do some journalism.
The First Lady also encouraged Congress to give survivors a platform, to give them an audience, let them say what they want to say. Epstein survivor Danielle Bensky says it's great to hear Melania Trump acknowledge the devastating harm to survivors, but we need a serious legal mechanism that gets to the truth without putting survivors in harm's way.
There you go. We're not coming. We need some sort of legal device where we can get to the heart of the matter without putting us in danger. Every single courthouse in the country has victims who come and testify against the person who did something, except if they kill you. So they're telling you, not just in the letter, but even in the text to him, hey, we want no part of this. Well, how do you ever expect to get to the bottom of something if you won't help dig the ditch for these people? But now you're not going to have a choice. Now you are going to be subpoenaed. Now you are going to have to come and tell everybody, maybe hopefully in front of a camera, what the hell happened and who did it. You played around for years. You hid behind all this stuff. You know, we're just poor victims. And now you're getting called to the carpet. Come out and tell us what happened. Point a finger, name a name. It's never going to happen. This is going to shut the door on Epstein forever. None of these women are coming forward. None of them. They'll write all kinds of letters. They'll have all kinds of press conferences. Thomas Massie and MTG and Ro Khanna will be out there, but none of them are coming into a courtroom.
Members of Congress on the Oversight Committee were keen on this. They'd like to have a public hearing and that more people would be invited to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. They like that broad idea, but they also are wondering why Melania Trump said this at this period of time. But it also does not absolve the Trump administration of their responsibility. Don't put this on Congress fully because the administration has those 3 million pages of still unreleased Epstein case files that can be released. Survivors have been pushing for that. Survivors have accused the administration of mishandling the Epstein case files. This doesn't change the
How do the survivors know what is in these files that they think hasn't been revealed yet? But I'll tell you, if you went and testified, hey, what isn't there that you think that, is being held back? What isn't being shown that you think needs to be shown? If you've already said Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. What is it that you want shown? I'm done with the cloak and dagger stuff. Now we're at the point where you need to go do some journalizing and you need to find out what exactly are these women afraid of.
Dynamic, but it does keep the Epstein files as a chronic, painful political problem for Trump.
You think so? I know that's what you want. You think as MAGA, we give a shit? There's people like, Massey and there's MTG, but we don't care. We want the door slammed on this forever because you guys are full of crap. You don't want finality. That's the truth. They don't want it to end. So let me tell you, I'm about to show you exactly why you saw so many people from England, the Brits. Listen to this by this scumbag author. Oops.
A new book was published yesterday in the
A new book was published yesterday. Yesterday. Timing. All right, let me not stop him right off the bat because you guys need to hear this in its entirety. All right, let's go.
A new book was published yesterday in the US and UK entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. It's by a British journalist by the name of...
A British journalist wrote a book about the whole Epstein thing, and it got released yesterday. A British journalist.
Andrew Loney. And it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also about his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump.
Oh, man. A book gets released yesterday, Wednesday, by an English writer because of Prince Andrew, and they somehow decided they were going to tie in Donald Trump and Melania. This author here is Michael Wolff. So an English author put this in a nice little bow and decided to release a book yesterday.
And in fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship with.
Now you see it. Now you see it. Now they are going after Melania and basically calling her a used-up hoe. That's where they're headed. No wonder she looked so pissed today. No wonder she walked out there. Like, you're going to say, what? You published a book saying, I slept with Epstein? Me? And he's sitting there all, pompous. This was a choreographed hit. It was a direct hit on our First Lady.
Melania.
I can't believe that this is where we are. Yeah, but you just watched Melania today. She showed the world what strength and class really look like. How pissed off she must have been knowing that this shit was coming out. But now it's Art's turn to stand with her and President Trump. One of the reasons I get so pissed off by some of the people in the chat when they say stuff like, we shouldn't be covering this. We should ignore it. I'm over this. I bet you she'd like to be over this. I bet you she is thinking to herself, I don't need to be going through this. I got a great life. And yet here we are with some Trump supporters going, I don't want to hear this. You should be knee deep in this. Now you know where another attack is coming. If you're saying you don't want to hear this, then you don't really care about President Trump. They're attacking his wife. It should tell you they've got nothing. They'll do anything. And you've got the balls to sit there put in the chat, I don't want to hear any of this stuff. This is everything you need to be fighting for. It's your turn to stand with her. It's your turn to stand up and fight. Remember? Fight, fight, fight. Well, she did the same thing today. She just didn't get shot. Man, sometimes I get pissed off. It gets me to the point sometimes where I'm like, you know what? F it. I can't deal with people. I just can't deal with people who only think about themselves. I see enough of that on X. I see enough of that with the panicans and the black pillars. I don't need to see it in here. Somebody asked in the chat, what do you want us to do? What do you think needs to happen? Do you think that this woman, seeing people tweet to her, we're behind you, Melania? I'm not asking you to engage with nuts. I'm asking you you're married. You might be a woman. How would you feel if today the world is out there saying that you're a hoe bag? That you slept with the most notorious evil person ever? How would you feel? Away from the cameras, how would you feel right now if somebody said that about your wife? Besides wanting to take their face off, I would want to give her as many words of encouragement as possible. I mean, after all, she's just a woman. Classy, gorgeous, first lady, but she's still just a woman. And I'm telling you, this isn't something a woman wants to hear or see all over the newsreels. With people saying that, you know, they got pictures and this and that she slept with him. And so she came out and said, no, it's a lie. And here it is 24 years later, and there's no proof unless someone's going to doctor a picture. Her word of saying no is all she has against the barrage that's being done to her. Now watch how they set this up. I didn't know why this came out. This came out this morning, right? And I couldn't believe it came out this morning. Listen to this.
I would say that the American people really don't care for Melania Trump. Take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at Melania Trump's net favorable ratings. Look at this. The lowest ever. The lowest ever. We're talking about now 12 points underwater.
I didn't know why this came out today. I am like, this doesn't make any sense. It's obviously BS. She's the worst first lady ever. Nobody likes her. And I'm like, so in May of 2018, she was 30 points favorable. Then by the time of January 25, she was only 3 points favorable. And now she's 12 points negative? Did something happen that I wasn't aware of? How do you go and lose 42% favorability? What has she done to lose 42%? To be the worst first lady ever.
If you go back a little bit more than a year ago, she was 3 points above water. You go back at this point, about this point in term number one for Donald Trump, look at that. She was 30 points above water. So at this point, historic lows for Melania Trump. These numbers are absolutely awful.
One of the questions is why the shift now? But also, I guess, you need to look at this always in the historical context of how does she line up against other first ladies?
Yeah, okay. If we look at this historically, the worst ever at this point in term number two. Look at this. We got her at
That would all make sense. I saw this morning and I'm like, huh? The worst first lady ever. Not even close. Hillary is 37 points above her. Hillary flipping Clinton is 37% higher. Michelle Obama is 54 points higher. What? Did you only poll Democrats? Did you only poll crazy Democrats? She's the worst liked first lady ever. Now I know why they did this poll today.
12 points underwater. Look at the rest of these first ladies on the board right here. They're all way above water. 42 points above water for Michelle Obama, 46 above water for Laura Bush, 25 points above water for Hillary Clinton, who was not always the most popular, and 50 points above water for Nancy Reagan. And I even looked at Joe Biden's numbers at this point in that presidency. Of course, that was term 1. She was above water as well. So this is the worst at this point in a presidency as well. Melania Trump breaking records in the way that you don't want to break records. Historically awful she is. The American people really don't care for her.
And you
perfect setup. Perfect setup. The American people despise Melania Trump. And so at 2:30 or a little bit before then, let's start the attack. Because nobody's going to care. They're going to trash her. Let's tear her down. And I didn't know why they put this up this morning. Now I do. It's all part of the plan to destroy her. Are you shitting me? -12? Did you only poll people in blue states? And even the people in blue states, what the hell do they have against Melania? She's done nothing. She's tried to help women. She's trying to help with AI and robotics. What has she done that she's the worst ever? But he's not done trashing her.
Also, I'm seeing you have new numbers or another look at the impact or the appeal that her appeal after her documentary came out.
Yeah, okay. So you asked in question number 1, you said why? What is one of the reasons why? And I think one of the reasons why was this documentary. I think a lot of people saw it as political, even if she didn't want it to be. And you could just see it here. This is real world data. This is not just the polling data that shows the lack of appeal, historic lack of appeal that she has for a first lady. Look at this. Some of Melania's budget sheet. Look at this. The budget, rights and marketing, $75 million. That was what is estimated to have been spent by Amazon. Compare that to the box office, both domestic and international combined. We're talking about $17 million. That makes this a bomb. There was a lot of talk.
I went to the theater and saw the movie. I've since watched it with you on Amazon. Amazon pays over the price for rights because they make it up on streaming. Everybody with an Amazon account pays a certain amount per month to access most of the movies on there. And so they know they can pay over and above what it would normally cost because they're going to make it up in streaming. It's already baked in. He should know that. But now they're trying to make it seem like it's a complete bust and everything she does sucks and we hate her.
When the film came out, hey, you know what, it had a good opening weekend, but then basically it stopped making money. So unless Amazon is able to make this up through streaming, this is going to be a historic bomb. Amazon spent a ton of money on it. And look at that. Simply put, the money was not made back. That coalesces, that combines with the polling data to say that Melania Trump is historically unpopular for a first lady.
There you have it. They crafted it. They put everything perfectly. They knew where they were going with this from this morning. That was the morning show on CNN. I was like, I don't know why they're putting it. This is trash. This means absolutely nothing. I can tell you faked it because you didn't include the international money. That still counts as revenue. But they did that on purpose, leading up to what's coming. So when she gets trashed, when she gets her character assassinated, when she gets destroyed, nobody's going to think otherwise because she's the worst first lady ever. This was a planned assassination. Different kind, but no less an assassination. Why do you need to see this? Because you need to prepare for what's coming. You need to be able to stand and say, this is BS. These survivors are full of crap. And you're taking on our first lady, which actually is an attempt to take on the president. You looking away, you ignoring it, is making it okay for them to do it. And so she's going to be attacked in the media. She's going to be attacked on the left in terms of the Democrats, and she's going to be attacked on the right. You've already seen what Candace Owen did and how she attacked Erica Kirk. It's coming. It's maybe coming tonight. It may be coming as soon as tonight. And so by telling everybody, I don't want to see it, I don't care, I'm looking away, I don't want to know this stuff, you're playing into their hands. You're playing directly into their hands. I just wish people wouldn't do that. It's going to be tough because people don't even like the fact that, you even discuss JE. And so right there you have people, yeah. And now they're going after Melania, so it makes it's even more red meat for the left. You got to stand up. You got to pray. You got to fight back. If you don't, then you're allowing them to put obstruction in the way. You're allowing them right now with the boot against their neck. Who knows what's going to be happening over the weekend with the war. This is all they have. They've got nothing. They've got less than nothing. If you're going to attack Melania Trump, you're really telling us you got nothing. This woman has done nothing to anybody. She's been his wife. She's been glamorous. She's been classy. She's been funny. She goes and she talks to children. The children love her. And now they've decided to do a character assassination. And so if you look away, you're enabling it. I just hope you understand that. And it bothered me to the point because I talked to my wife and I went, Robin, if somebody said that about you, I don't even know what I would do. So I'm pretty sure in the quiet of the White House right now, she needs support. She definitely needs it. Let me go ahead. Oops, sorry. Let me do super chats. I mean, it's ugly. Macon, I tip my hat to you, sir. A real trooper. I thought this was a rerun. Thank you for all you do and the team does. Yeah, I had to because I felt that strongly about it. I felt that this was utterly ridiculous, especially the part where they're calling her the worst first lady ever. Lisa, I had seen one claim she was sold to Trump. It's going to get bad. Oh, my goodness. G. Fisher, Dems won 450 out of 3,300 counties. Their cheating included 15 months ago. They're effing crazy and don't have a prayer. Exactly. They need to do all this propaganda crap. They're good at it. They're extremely good at it, and they convince a lot of people on the right. Why do you need to see this? Because you don't need to fall for it. That's one thing. Cutting edge, 10 years, and now they try this with Melania. Imagine if they did do this with Barron. We don't have enough photos or videos of Barron in his life. These people are really low-lifes. G. Fisher, I heard ICE has already deported almost 500,000 criminals. That means lots more total. Great job so far, ICE. Yep. Make it. It's a BS show, and we all know it. We know it. A lot of people are going to fall for this. I mean, trust me, if you don't want to see this, don't go on X tonight. I'm telling you, don't. Pekowski, no Democrats had held responsible for anything yet. Exactly. G. Fisher released the Swalwell files. Raven Kirkendall, do people realize when you bring a case against someone, you testify in front of others in court? No Dems. I heard Larry Ellison is buying CNN. Yep, he did. CNN and CBS. Nicholas, Barry, this has Nancy Pelosi's vile fingerprints all over it. The wrap-up smear, they need to be sued, especially MSNBC and CNN and these British networks and some of these individuals. I'm sick of this. Hearst needs to be sued too. Cutting edge. This is the Five Eyes. If you don't know what Five Eyes is, you might want to look that up because he's absolutely right. This is an intelligence agency created by the City of London. This is happening since the creation of NATO, the first 16 years of NATO. One of the officials was a high-ranking Nazi. Mary, thank you. Cutting edge. NATO was to infiltrate to destroy countries from within, creating agencies of killers even for presidents. Hey, Tim, we're at war at the home front. Bingo. We are. And I don't think enough people understand that. We are most assuredly at war. Good versus evil, light versus dark, heavenly versus demonic. Our enemy's name is Legion, for they are many. Yep. Buddy, well, why are we taxed to pay a fund for congressional misconduct with no accountability? He's talking about the sexual harassment fund. You're right. Tania, Barry, the British ladies have used dish rag faces. Tim again, the evil left rhinos, Xters are openly revealing that their true selves, yep, demons openly walk among us in news, X, and in our government. Yes, they do. I agree. Buddy, proves polls are not truthful. That pretty much just got proved to you. By that one poll where they said Melania is the worst first lady ever. Yeah, okay, I believe that. Ed, they only polled the people in the studio. I'm disgusted with mainstream media. Exactly. Jeanette, the media is full of crap. Do not believe these polls. I don't think anybody here even remotely believes these polls. Sleepy Trash Man, the PSYOP is real. It's all hands on deck. All assets deployed for whoever the deep state has their grumpy hands in. Media, podcasters, exactly. That's why you have to get in it. That's why you need to be in the fight. You can't be a spectator, not with what they're trying to do to this country. And Sonia, Melania won't go from biggie to small. Trump is 6'4". It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But this is where they are at this point. All right, so I just wanted to get on here and show you some of what's going on, and I'm sure in your travels and in your work and your friends and family, you're going to hear a bunch of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes tonight we're going to see videos and pictures and everything else. Stand strong. We're under attack. And the only reason, there is only one reason why we're under attack. That's what you have to remember. Yes, it's good versus evil, but there's something else to it. We're under attack because they're losing.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.